Happy New Year and welcome to the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashani Silva. Today on the Jazz Update, it's all about a famous blues singer, Bessie Smith. She was nicknamed the Empress of the Blues. She saw her heyday in the 20s and the 30s. She was both a great singer and also inspired several other singers like Louis Armstrong and other jazz greats. In 1920, a new market opened up for aspiring African American talent. A singer called Crazy Blues was released on OK Records, sold more than 100,000 copies. That led to a new demand of blues singers. Bessie Smith was one of the earliest examples. In 1923, she signed up with Columbia Records on the strength of her performance with the Moses Stokes Band, making her a national star. Her first big hit was her very first release. It was a combination of the song Gulf Coast Blues and Downhearted Blues. It had already seen some success on the charts. Soon afterwards, she became known as the highest paid black entertainer of her day. She typically toured in railroad cars during her performances. She went on to acquire the title Queen of the Blues and the Empress. Bessie Smith made 160 recordings for Columbia Records, often in collaboration with other jazz greats like Louis Armstrong, Coleman Hawkins, Fletcher Henderson, James P. Johnson, Joe Smith and Charlie Green. And this is the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashani Silva. Today on the Jazz Update, it's about famous jazz and blues singer Bessie Smith. She was nicknamed the Empress of the Blues. She saw her heyday in the 20s and the 30s. She was not just a great singer, she also inspired other great singers like Louis Armstrong. So she was born in July 1892 in Tennessee, grew up in a family of 3 siblings. Her parents were both gospel preachers. She lost her siblings and her parents by the age of 9. Her sister Viola was then left to take care of the family. From an early age, she was singing on the streets of Tennessee to make a living with her brother Andrew. She would sing and he would accompany her on the guitar. They would typically parade in front of the White Elephant Saloon in the heart of the African American community in Tennessee at the time. In 1904, her older brother joined a traveling band led by bandleader Moses Stokes. Bessie Smith recalled in later years that if she had been old enough, she'd have gone with him. And then in 1912, Clarence, her brother, returned to Tennessee. He was now an established singer with the Stokes Band and auditioned Bessie herself for that band. She, alongside another singer called Ma Rainey, were hired as dancers at that band, and in later years she developed as a singer with that band. They would tour Atlanta with their performances. In 1920, a new market opened up for aspiring African American jazz talent. A single called Crazy Blues, released on OK Records, had sold more than 100,000 copies. That led to a new demand of blues singers, and Bessie Smith was one of the earliest examples. In 1923, she signed up with Columbia Records on the strength of her performances with the Stokes Band, making her a national star. Her first big hit was her very first release. It was a combination of Gulf Coast Blues and Downhearted Blues, a song that had already seen some success on the charts. Soon afterwards, she became known as the highest paid black entertainer of her day. She would tour in railroad cars during her performances, went on to acquire the title of Queen of the Blues and the Empress. She had a very powerful recording voice that served her well during a time when recordings were made acoustically rather than electronically. Over her career, Bessie Smith made 160 recordings for Columbia Records, often in accompaniment with other jazz greats like Louis Armstrong, Coleman Hawkins, Fletcher Henderson, Joe Smith, and Charlie Green. The Great Depression stalled her career for a while, during which she was unable to perform and record for a while. It was during this time that she turned her attention to Broadway. In 1929, she appeared in a Broadway musical called Pansy. She also made a film appearance at the same time, a film called St. Louis Blues, based on a song by W.C. Handy. In the film, she's singing the song accompanied by the Fletcher Henderson Orchestra. In 1933, she changed her typical blues format of singing to fit the swing era, after she was invited by John Hammond to sing with OK Records. 2 of those songs, Take Me for a Buggy Ride and Give Me a Pigfoot and a Bottle of Beer, are ranked among her most popular recordings. Her career was cut short by an unfortunate incident in 1937 when she met with a car accident. She died the same year, leaving behind a legacy in the blues and swing era that few female singers could parallel. So that was a bit of background on Bessie Smith, and this is the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashani Silva. and this is the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashani Silva. The inaugural Jazz Music Awards is around the corner. It's taking place at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the 1st of January. A massive show, a 2-hour show celebrating jazz in all its forms. Among the award winners are jazz legends like Wayne Shorter and McCoy Tyner. It also features a lineup of epic performances by Diane Reeves, Kenny Garrett, Orrin Evans, Jasmine Horn, and more. So if you live in Georgia, the show is being streamed on any Georgia public broadcasting station. If you are outside Georgia, you can still tune in on gbp.org. Also, if you're a PBS member, the show is available on demand at 7 p.m. on New Year's Day. So that was some promo news right there, and this is the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashani Silva. We're going for a short break, but when we come back, we're going to be talking about some of Bessie Smith's greatest hits of all time. Stay tuned. Welcome to the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashani Silva. On today's episode, it's all about jazz icon Bessie Smith, her life and times, and best music. And on this segment, we're talking about some of her greatest songs of all time. The first song is called St. Louis Blues. In this song, the woman's lamenting the loss of her boyfriend. Another woman's entered the picture and stolen him from her. And she's singing about finding new meanings, starting afresh. Do Your Duty is a song that takes the form of a conversation between Bessie and her lover. She's asking him to do his duty in his relationship with her. She sees him as her emotional stronghold. The song Alexander's Ragtime Band is a song that is a tribute to gospel music and jazz music. It's a story of a jazz band called Alexander's Ragtime Band that creates the best music in the land. A song dedicated to the origins of African American musicians in jazz. And Nobody Knows When You're Down and Out is a story about the good times when the singer was rich and then she lost it all. So this is the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashani Silva. Today's episode, it's all about Bessie Smith, her life and times, and best music, and in this segment we're going to be talking about some of her best songs of all time. The first song's called Nobody Knows When You're Down and Out. It's taken from the album The Essential Bessie Smith. So in this song, it's a story about how the singer lost all her wealth. In her previous times, she was a rich kid. She was spending lavishly on champagne, liquor, and partying. And then it happened. She falls from grace. Her friends that she had at bygone times of wealth have vanished. She's alone and penniless. Now this song talks about two things. About the dynamics in society between rich and poor people, and also how to rise from poverty. She's singing that one day she has the confidence that she will rise from the depths again. A Grammy Award-winning song by Smith, St. Louis Blues, taken from her album The Collection. This one's a popular American blues song. It was originally composed by W.C. Handy. It's a jazz classic still loved today. It's also one of the first blues songs to have made fame in the pop genre. This song's been performed countless times by several musicians, from the Glenn Miller Orchestra to Louis Armstrong to Bessie Smith. Now this song starts on a note of loneliness. The opening lyrics give way to a picture of the sun setting in the background. The singer is singing about how lonely she feels. She's on a final journey, what she calls a last round. Now there's a lot of symbolism here. The sunset stands for something like the end of the relationship of her dreams. Her journey is a symbol of her loneliness and her despair. And the singer has decided it's time to take action, to do something productive to make her dreams come true again, to leave her broken relationship, to seek something new. And in the third stanza we see what the cause of the whole issue was. A woman described as a singer from St. Louis with diamond rings has taken the singer's man. The guy of her dreams is now being controlled by that other woman, and there's nothing she can do to save their relationship. Some people call this song the jazzman's Hamlet. It's also the song that inspired the famous dance known as the Foxtrot. When Bessie Smith performed this song alongside Louis Armstrong, it was a massive success and was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 1993. Another song called Do Your Duty. Now this song was originally released by Bessie in 1929 for her album The Complete Recordings Volume 3. And this one's actually a conversation between Bessie and her lover. What she expects him to do in his relationship with her. She wants him to always be by her side, to be her emotional stronghold. Now, there's a lot of people around her that say it's not working, who say he doesn't love her, but Bessie refuses to believe those rumors. So the song title Do Your Duty is like a call to action that's repeated several times in the lyrics. This song takes us back to a day and age of romance in the mid 20th century, and Bessie Smith's rendition of this ballad is a beautiful one. Alexander's Ragtime Band is a song that was originally written by Irving Berlin. It's a song that takes us back to the arrival of the first African American musicians in the jazz scene, with their versions of popular songs, typically in a more peppy, up-tempo style. So Bessie Smith's rendition of this song is in like form. It's a tribute to this ragtime band known as Alexander's Ragtime Band. The song begins as an invitation to people. Come and listen to the ragtime band playing. It's one of the best in the land. The music is described as natural and powerful, and the band leader, Alexander, is held in high praise and esteem for his inspiring performances with the band. The song also talks about the song Swanee River, a very popular song at the time, and how the band performs the ragtime version of that song. And this is the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashani Silva. It's time to talk about more trending album news. Icelandic singer-songwriter Laufey has been taking the jazz world by storm with her album Bewitched. It was released on September 8th. It broke an all-time record as the biggest debut for a jazz album in Spotify history. Reached number 1 on Billboard's Independent Albums chart and also number 1 on the Jazz Albums chart. Now there's a song titled From the Start from that album, the breakout hit single from that album. This song is one of the most streamed jazz songs in the world. So this one's a beautiful love song. The instrumentals are a combination of jazz and bossa nova. The lyrics talk about daydreaming about being in love. Laufey is singing about being in love with somebody who doesn't like her back. Now she says it's her dream to bring jazz to Generation Z through her music, and this song is definitely one such example. You can check it out on any streaming platform. And this is the Weekend Jazz Update with Jashani Silva. We're going for a short break, but we'll be right back after that. When we come back, more great songs by Bessie Smith, the meanings of the lyrics, and more. Stay tuned.